It's Friday, September 14th, 2007. There are just 417 days left until the '08 election.
It's noon on the East Coast, 9 a.m. on the West.
I'm Will.
I'm Rob.
This is Political Lunch. Welcome back to Political Lunch. It's Friday. You know how we roll. 10 campaign news stories in 3 minutes. Let's put 3 minutes on the clock. Rob, take it away.
Number 10. This week was going to be all about Iraq, but instead it became all about this ad from MoveOn.org, which only served to distract from the issues at hand and piss off both Republicans and Democrats alike.
Rudy Giuliani is taking it one step further with an ad of his own, reportedly defending General Petraeus, but it'll likely have a few choice words for Democrats who've accepted campaign cash from MoveOn.
Number 9. Speaking of the Republican field, here's a special message from Newt Gingrich.
But I'm not dead! Yeah, he said he's not dead. Yes, he is. I'm not.
The former Speaker of the House says he hasn't made up his mind whether or not he'll run for president. He's going to decide based on committed campaign contributions.
Number 8, on Wednesday, it was all hugs and kisses for the newest member of the GOP field, Fred Thompson. Today, not so much.
He whiffed big time on a question regarding the Terry Schiavo case, saying he didn't have an opinion because he couldn't remember the details.
I think it's a little early to be playing the I don't remember game.
Yeah, wait for your first White House scandal on that one.
Number 7, don't miss this. Next week, Bill Clinton is coming back for his 3rd appearance on The Daily Show.
We'll bring you highlights, but if you don't want to miss it, it's on September 20th.
Number 6, here's an interesting one. If you had to guess which of the presidential candidates received the most contributions from members of the military, you'd probably guess wrong.
Barack Obama and Ron Paul have been leading campaign contributions from members of the military.
Number 5, more on Barack Obama now. On Wednesday, we told you that he'd travel to Clinton, Iowa to deliver a major policy speech on the Iraq War. Well, it didn't go quite as he'd hoped.
The plan has been criticized by Democrats for not pulling troops out quickly enough and leaving peacekeepers there for some time.
In his defense, Obama responded, "I think it's very important for us to do this in a responsible and safe way."
Number 4, Chris Dodd was the subject of the New York Times Magazine's profile this week. Dodd was asked about his younger years' relationships with the likes of Bianca Jagger and Carrie Fisher.
To which he responded, "There's no such thing as a saint without a past or a sinner without a future."
I think that's pretty much verbatim what W used to say about his alleged coke habit. I don't know, if I were Carrie Fisher or Bianca Jagger, I don't think I'd want to be lumped in with him.
Probably not. Number 3, after all the grief we gave the McCain campaign earlier this year, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention this report.
That's right, old Walnuts McCain is back in black. After several lagging quarters and mounting campaign debts, the tide is finally turning.
That is, at least according to campaign manager Rick Davis. We'll have to wait until FEC reports are filed next month to know for sure.
Number 2, President Bush addressed the nation on Iraq last night, saying that gains made there would allow the U.S. to scale back the troop surge that began earlier this year.
But he also urged patience, to which Democratic presidential hopefuls responded, "No, we've kind of done that already."
And finally, our number 1 story. On a much lighter note, we return to Chris Dodd. Earlier this week, we kind of gave the Huffington Post a hard time for their so-called mashup debate, which turns out wasn't so much of a mashup.
But this clip, featuring Senator Dodd speaking on the subject of health care, looks like they're starting to get it. They've been kind enough to provide right-wing closed captioning.
Can you give me a good reason why, in a free and fair society, marijuana should be illegal?
Well, Bill, I've taken the position, certainly with medical use of marijuana, that it ought to be allowed. In many states, I think 12 or 13 states allow that today. In fact, we just had a huge debate in the committee in which I served dealing with the issue, and I've strongly advocated that these states not be biased or prejudiced because they allow the use of marijuana for medical purposes.
That's it for 10 and 3 today. Thanks very much for watching Political Lunch. And if you're at work, don't jump up and down and get too crazy or anything, but next week, 5-day coverage.
What have we gotten ourselves into? That's right, Political Lunch 5 days a week, starting next week. We also make the transition from stunt mugs
to the real thing.
Very exciting. Make sure to watch. We'll see you then.
Darn good coffee.
Great coffee.
So let me go beyond marijuana here in terms of crack cocaine or powder cocaine, where we have differentials in prison sentences here. So I would decriminalize, or certainly advocate, as